All right, there we go. Apologize for not starting the recording early enough. Anyway, so back to where I was. Learning the basic math fundamentals is something that I've taken a deep look here at Western Christian Academy and our individualized structure. We want to make sure that an 8th grade student that comes to us that hasn't learned the basic math skills is prepared as they advance into high school math, that they have those fundamental skills. We can have a sophomore in high school be doing, fractions, decimals, and percents because they've never mastered those concepts, and still earn high school credit. So it's very important that we meet students where they are in the education. So like I said, I put that link in the chat for that. Couple other things here before I have Jeremy share with us his experience is that we do a student survey. We had a student survey go out last year, almost a year ago, on December 1st. I will be sending that out probably on January 1st for students to fill out. And this survey, I just want to share with you some of the results from what the students have said. Talking about working at their functional level, feels confident towards their schoolwork. 81% strongly agree with that or agree with that. How many of them like the web-based learning curriculum? Again, it's 80% agree with that. Access to having their schoolwork at any time, it's as high as 97% strongly agree or agree with that. They all pretty much, everybody spends the average amount of time is 4 to 5 hours on their schoolwork. Engaging with their teachers, this is an important factor of Western Christian Academy. Okay, a lot of times people withdraw because of a lack of communication with people, and yet those are the same students that fail to engage with their teachers. The more you engage with your teacher, the better you're going to be. So Jody's on this call. Jody can tell you the more students, the students that engage with her on a regular basis, this is several times a week, those are very successful students. Their work is getting done on time. They're managing their daily goals. They're not afraid to ask questions, and they become very successful as they advance through their educational years. The number of students, the percentage of students that feel supported by their teachers and staff here at Western Christian Academy is as high as 85%. These are all from students. This is not me making things up. And one of our greatest pushes here is wanting to help our students grow in our faith. So one of the things to look forward to is we're developing a gospel presentation to put on our website. How many, it says that it's as high as 79% students agree that, or strongly agree that we help them grow in their faith. This is one of the things that I would love to see: challenging questions from students to their teachers, challenging questions to us in general, questions you have about God, questions you have about the Bible, questions you have about life, and how does the biblical worldview apply to that? And then one of the greatest things for me as an administrator is one of the questions we have here is how well do we support your family values and your family needs? One of the ways we do that is through our affordability. And again, this is why being a nonprofit, having this external support of others outside of tuition is so important. But 82% strongly agree that we're supporting those family values and the needs that your family has. And that's very important for me, because if we weren't doing that, what are we not doing to be able to do that? So what are our graduates saying? One of the things that I love about our graduates is that when they go to college, or if they don't go to college even, my concern is, how well are you equipped for that? 93% of our graduates say they feel equipped and ready and prepared for college or that next level of life. And for me, that's very important. I have talked with individual graduates to see how they're doing in college. And they actually say it's pretty easy because the most difficult work they did was what they did here at Western Christian Academy. So I love that. I love the fact that we have a high standard here that challenges students, which then equips them in the long term. That is so important for me because as parents, we're raising our children to be independent, to let them go on their own. And God has given us the ability to steward that development for that future development. Yes, as parents, we want to keep them close, but at the end of the day, we know they have to be released and they have to go out, and we want them to be fully equipped and fully prepared to do so. So just some basic statistics of Western Christian Academy, the impact that we're having. And at this time, though, I really want to stop talking, and I would love for Jeremy to share his experience at Western Christian Academy. And Jeremy, start out with what grade you're in, how old you are, kind of how long you've been with Western Christian Academy, and then just kind of share with us your experience and impact that we've had on your not just education but really life. So Jeremy, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Hello, everybody. I am Jeremy, like Mr. Gillingham said. I am 13. I'm in 8th grade, and I began studying in Western Christian Academy back in 2020, around when the pandemic started. And I'm in the scholarship fund because it's a bit hard sometimes to be able to maintain a school when there's the economy of a country isn't that good over here in Panama. It's decent, but well, every day I get up, I'm able to do my homework pretty efficiently, and I don't really have to worry about being behind because I can work ahead on the weekends. That's something that you can't do in normal school because you just go the days like from Monday to Friday and then you're done for the weekend. But here in Western Christian Academy, you can use the holidays or a weekend to work ahead, which is something that relieves me a lot. And it also helps my mother as well because this time on Thanksgiving, we literally moved from houses. So I was able to basically be tranquil. I had the time to move, and I don't really have to worry about that much of the school. But I study around 4 to 5 hours from 6 a.m. to 11 or 10. So, yeah, and I maintain contact with Mrs. Jordan. Hello. Every month or so, I call her and also Mrs. Becca. So, yeah, overall, I thank the people who supported the scholarship fund because it's been a great help for me and my mother because not everyone can get what they need. But with the help from others, we're able to achieve our needs. And with God, too, He helps us.
Perfect. Love that, Jeremy. Thank you so much for that.
All
So
right.
at this time, I want to open it up to anybody else that just wants to share with each other about your experience here at Western Christian Academy, the value. Really, I want to really focus on the value of that because ultimately, what we try to do in our one of our core pillars is the affordable aspect. Is make it available and affordable. As Jeremy said, Panama City economic structure is not the same as the U.S. and Romania is not the same as the U.S. And so we try to make sure that we meet that economic structure where students are, and we want to make sure that because we want it to be affordable for them. It's not about the funds. The funding, as I read about it, for public school, that's their biggest worry, when it comes to losing kids from the public school that are choosing to homeschool or choosing a school like ours. The public school, they're always worried about money. Understand that the Bible says that the love of money, not money itself, but the love of money, the desire to have money, is the root of all evil. And if you stop and think about that in our world today, how much is dictated by that love and pursuit of money? It has all kinds of problems attached to it. And so We want to be able to make it affordable to anybody, to any parent that we possibly can make it affordable to. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are part of this and experiencing this. And but even if you're not, I just want to hear the value that you're receiving from Western Christian Academy. So I see Jeremy's mom is on the call, and didn't know if she wanted to share, any, follow up with her son, but we'll let her take that opportunity if she wants to first.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity to tell our experiences once again. I hope you can hear me clearly. Well, for me as a mother, it's very important that my son is learning the Bible code from the Bible, that is specific from the school, because it's something that we are not. We are. He is learning from directly from the school the Bible perspective of the world, and I'm trying to hardly focus into him be in a pattern or maybe a good direction, because everywhere there are problems everywhere, and schools are not a lot of time are not safe, as you mentioned already. We have the stuff that you mentioned about the gender. I'm thankful for you to let us know that, because over here we don't know. We are in another. It is like the gender perspective. It is happening, but it's not as in the USA. But yeah, I'm trying for him to know what is right or not, and having that coming from the school is more efficient, I guess. And also, I'm very thankful for the teachers that he got. When you mentioned about mathematics, at the beginning he was a little bit scared about the algebra. I'm sorry if I missed up, but yeah, Mrs. Becca helped him a lot, and Miss Jordan and the other teachers as well. So we are very thankful for having that, especially me, because I work and he's being able to be independently working, and he got the support of all of the staff as well. Thank you so much for the help and for the donors that are helping my son to be able to keep pushing, keep pushing, and he is good in the essays. I love that because I learned that when I was in the university, but he's learning that from now, and he is independent. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, anybody else, want to share their experience? So does anybody have any questions concerning any aspect of Western Christian Academy? Maybe you're a student, you have another question of another student based upon location. Part of these calls, again, is not for me to continue to talk to you, but for you guys to talk to each other, to share your experiences with each other. For parents, to ask questions of other parents. What are you struggling with? What do you like? Where are the challenges? Are you having trouble with, maybe the same teacher? Maybe it's time frame, maybe it's structure, family structure. So any questions that anybody has that you want to ask. You could even ask me personal questions if you want. If you want to know more about your administrator, okay? I'm an open book. No questions, huh? Wow.
Well, I'm sorry. I have a question that is always a question that is from parenting that it is about. Yeah, I know that as a parents we need to do other activities to prevent isolation to our kids. Okay, so I like that you started something new, which is the essays, the contest, and I believe that it's good things even when there is not a prize, but to keep the kids like doing certain type of activities. So I would like to once again ask, I don't remember if I already did it, but if any type on the journey they will be able to do any type of forum or maybe other activity online so they can do like at the school do any type of that activities. Thank you.
Yeah, so I am working on what for lack of a better term, student forums. I'm looking at Microsoft Teams and possibly using the community feature of that for us to help oversee that, so to speak. I'm also working with our science teacher, who has some great. I don't even know how to put it. He's been a science teacher for almost for like 25, 26 years, and so he already has some pre-designed questions and projects that can be done virtually with a group of students, like dealing with creation versus evolution, and and challenge the kids in that way. So we're working on putting those together. I'm looking at starting something here in the beginning of the new year in 2026, and so you can be looking forward to that. But I'm also open to parents and your suggestions of opportunities that you would like to see with your kids. So maybe it's a topic for the kids to discuss. By the way, we had a total of 17 students write an essay for the Veterans Day contest, and so I have them printed out to be able to read them and then get back to everybody on who the winner was and share those essays with the entire school, the essays of those students. So bear with us here for the next week or two, and then we'll get those out, the results out and share the results with everybody on that. So we're very excited to see the kids jumping in on there, participate on there. I do have to say that the lower grade students outperform the high school students, just so you know. Okay, high school students seem to be preoccupied with I don't know what, but they really don't participate in that type of stuff much. I think it's because they don't like to write or whatever it may be. But so kudos to the lower than 8th grade and down students. So good job, guys. But I'm looking forward to reading those. Some of them I know are going to be a fictional story. Some of them are going to be maybe an experience from personally. But I'm excited to see what we're going to discover from the students' writing. So, any other questions? Any questions? Okay, so it's just. What has been for those of you that have been enrolled with us? I don't care if it's your first year. I don't care if you've been with us for a lot of years. Like Jeremy has been with us for 5 years. If you could sum up, in one sentence, short sentence, what is it that you like about your education at Western Christian Academy? Could you just share that with us? It could be from the students, it could be from the parents. But one short sentence, what is it that you like? What comes to mind? Boom, I like this.
I like the efficiency and the communication.
Okay.
And communication.
Excellent. Yeah, Mark.
Can I write it down in the messages or not?
You can write it in the message if you want, or you could just say it right now.
All right. I'll just write the messages.
I kind of like to hear that England accent, though. So he's gonna. Terza likes the flexible schedule. Okay. Jody says, I love meeting people all over the world. Yep. Okay. Elena, you had your hand up.
Hello. I like the fact that you help us with the schedule, because we started homeschooling in another with another school, and then we tried a bit of school education in so-called education in the public system, and we realized we didn't need more than 1 year, that we have to go back to the homeschooling. And you helped us with the schedule, because once we are led by somebody else that knows what is doing, then it's easier for us. Plus the curriculum helps us a lot. But the fact that we are guided now, we are quite beginners in your school, and we still have to catch up with some things concerning the Ignitia system, but we are learning. We are somewhere close to
Good.
learning.
Yeah, I
Thank
mean,
you.
one of the things that I love is this. When parents are learning along with their kids,
No.
kids are so much better learners.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that parents are involved with their education, as they should be, and challenging their students, but at the same time, making the students individually responsible for what they're responsible for. Anderson said, I like how I always have a teacher to get help from. Okay. Mark says, I like the fact that I can learn at my own pace and the way Ignitia is set up. Flory likes the nice stuff and the flexible schedule. Flory, what is the nice stuff? I need to know what the nice stuff is, Flory. By the way, I met Flory when I was in Romania, and her sister and family. So
hello, everybody. Can I answer this question a bit in a few minutes, because I have my family who are
Sure.
coming from Bucharest,
Yeah.
and I'll be back soon to answer this question. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So Ashley, is your dad there? Or is that your older brother? Your older brother? What's his name? Don't be embarrassed.
It's Mark.
Hey, Mark, how's it going? So does Mark make sure you get your schoolwork done? As the older, responsible brother? No?
No,
Well, maybe Mark and I should have a conversation about that.
he doesn't want to talk. He's right there. He said to tell you that he left.
Oh, okay. I love it. So part of what we're doing here is dealing with the entire family. We're never dealing with just a single student that's enrolled, because if your student's learning at home, it's affecting the entire family structure. And to have that full family support is huge for the success of the student. And also learning to be able to have the conversation with each other. So I just want to, before we get off the call, Jenny Wood says, I like partnerships with a school that has a similar values and the children are learning the gospel message from other people other than us. And I would say that's one of the biggest things for me as a parent raised 4 daughters. When I would come in contact with other people that would speak the same truths to my children concerning the gospel, concerning the things we find in scripture, I really didn't have anything to say because I've already told them 100 times, and so it's so good to partner with the body of Christ, no matter where they are, speaking those truths to our kids. Also like that it leads us in a godly path. Agreed, Anderson. It's all about, the Bible says the way is narrow and few there is that find it. Broad is the way that leads to destruction, and many there be that go that way. And so we want to make sure that, the path that we're on is a narrow path. Not everybody can walk that path. And yet we want to have the courage and the strength to continue on that path, knowing that it's the right path. So that's part of our mission here, to help train young people in that, to help support families and their values in that, to raise the next generation of godly young people, to continue on spreading the gospel of good news to those wherever they are around the world. I've been to many, many different countries, and it still is the same truth no matter where you go. And so I'm excited and encouraged by our international community and the struggle that, like just Elena was talking about, learning a new system, and yet the ability to face the challenges of that, to reach out, as Jeremy was talking about communication, Mark was talking about the messaging. Communication is so crucial for what we do here at Western Christian Academy. So if you're struggling and you're not asking questions, you're not reaching out, you're going to continue to struggle. One of the things that I love about international families and students is this: English may not be their primary language, but watching them struggle in learning, improving that, and as time goes by, looking at the progress, it's extremely encouraging to me as an administrator to see students improve and grow. And when I sign a high school diploma and I look at that student and I see that they've been with us since kindergarten, I'm like, wow, that went by fast. And to see where they're, the next stage of life is taking them. All right, Flory said she's back. So Flory, explain to us what that stuff is, that what you say, the nice stuff.
Basically the teachers, Mrs. Kanakali, which I talked with her a few times, and I like that they are friendly most of the time and they are ready to help us.
Good.
Okay.
So I laughed because you said teachers are friendly most of the time. And so kind of like parents are friendly most of the time, right? But I'll be the first to say this, as students, okay, as children, I would highly help you understand this. Parents are not your friend. They are your parent, okay? They can be your friend when you get older, okay? But as of right now, when you're in school, okay, let's say you graduate high school, okay, or in your high school years, they can start becoming friends, but really they're still your parent, okay? And you need to honor them as parents. Yeah, Flory.
Sorry, why do you think parents can become your friends later?
Because there's a maturing factor that happens. Because no longer are you a child. The Bible says, when I was a child, I acted as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. And so there's this level of maturity that you retain to, that you will still honor your mother and your father. You will still honor those. But the relationship is a different relationship, because now your parents recognize they don't need my hovering instruction, my protection, all of these things that they provided when you were little. And so because they've trained you and raised you to be independent, to make good decisions, to have wisdom, doesn't mean you won't ask of wisdom from your parents. But as you mature, they now become, you can have this friendship. So an example is this. I grew up working for my dad, doing construction. I hated it. Okay, I never wanted to work construction, you know, to build things. I didn't like it. And so when I got out of college, I came back and, you know, I didn't have a job. So I was like, you know what? My dad said, hey, I got some work. You want to work? I said, okay. But what I did was I said, but we're no longer going to have the relationship that we had when I was younger. And he acknowledged that. And our relationship was that of employer-employee, kind of co-owner, because it was kind of a co-ownership of the business. And how he treated me and looked at me was different because of my maturity.
Okay.
So that friendship parenting role does change in that aspect. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay. So before we go anywhere, I want to share with you the link to our scholarship fund page. I'm going to put it in the chat. There's some testimonies there. Ashley said, so because Ashley gets shy when she talks, she typed a message. But Ashley said, I just joined this year, but I really like the way it's set up. Also, I like the work at your own pace deal, because a lot of times I'm busy and it gives me flexibility. Agreed. That's one of the greatest things that people really comment about, is they love the flexible schedule. I mean, think about it. Ashley, what grade are you in?
9th.
So Ashley's a high schooler. Okay. So what happens is when you spend 4 to 5 hours, maybe 6 hours, you know, when you get into high school and you got to take 6 subjects rather than 5, okay, you find that when you maintain that structure, most of us are awake between like 14 and 16 hours a day. So you realize that 1/3 of your day at the most is involved in your schoolwork. Then you have 2/3 of your day that you have free to do whatever it may be. So, you know, if it's extracurricular activities, if it's working a job, if it's, you know, family vacations, or in Jeremy's case, this last Thanksgiving weekend, moving, you know, from one house to the next. He had that freedom and flexibility. So that flexibility is huge for a lot of families, and especially a lot of students. So if you're like Ashley, you know, you're a young adult, and, you know, Mark and Jeremy, if you're 8th grade, you know, Flory, you guys are young adults. And so the freedom that you should be having as young adults to structure your own schedule, to maintain your own schedule, your own responsibility. Nobody can do the work for you, right? You have to do it. But the flexibility that you have in order to do that, we provide that. So that's a huge benefit for us here at Western Christian Academy. We want that to be a huge plus for you guys. So I put the link in there for our scholarship fund. This scholarship fund is only for tuition. And it basically is simply this. What we're asking for is $10 a month for donors to give $10 a month on a consistent basis, which helps cover the difference of the scholarship that's already being given to at least 1/3 of our student body as it is, or tuition discount based upon, you know, the economic structure of the country that the students are in. Most people don't miss $10 a month. I tell people, I said, if you have a cell phone, you don't miss $10 a month because of the cost of your cell phone on a monthly basis, depending on the structure of the culture you're in and all those things. But $10 a month goes a long ways here at Western Christian Academy to provide opportunities for students to be able to and families to afford Western Christian Academy private school education. So I want to encourage you to go to our website, WCAscholarship.org, and check it out. There's a couple of testimonies up there. We're going to be putting more testimonies on that as we go in through this to a campaign season here. But we really want to fund that. As you'll see if you click on the link there, we're trying to fund the scholarship fund up to $25,000 so that we can start issuing scholarships to students and provide applications for students to apply for those scholarships on that. So spread the word. Businesses, need a tax deduction at the end of the year. Consider Western Christian Academy to do that. So Giving Tuesday, that's what today is here in America. A lot of promotion for nonprofits for funding to meet their goals for the end of the year. But for us, it's really to help meet the goals that families have to be able to afford individualized Christian worldview private education for their students from wherever they are in the world. So I think at any given time, we're representing somewhere between 12 to 14 different countries. And so we're reaching people everywhere. So before we get off the call, any last minute questions? Anything anybody wants to share with anybody else? The next call will be sometime in probably towards the end of January. Flory.
I wrote a question, but let me find it in the chat.
Flory said she sometimes finds it hard when she's trying to catch up in history and science.
It was I wrote, hello, last year I made the 7th grade CET and I entered with the same units this year in 8th grade. I did not know if it because of the results or because of the struggles I had with math because of my family issues with my dad.
Well, Flory, I just want to say this. I am highly encouraged by everything that I'm hearing from you and about you and how your schoolwork is going. I hear from your teachers. I am highly encouraged with how life is going for you right now and how you're doing your schoolwork. So all I can say is keep up the good work, Flory. Keep reaching out to your teachers. If any of you are having trouble with engaging with your teachers, reaching your teachers, if you just want to talk with me, if you want to, reach out to say hi, I am putting, again, as I do every time in these meetings, I am putting my Teams link. So if you're a student, you want to add me to your Microsoft Teams account, I just put it there in the bottom. Send me an invite and you can reach out to me on Teams and we can chat anytime you want. So I want to say thank you for being part of this call. I want to encourage you to give just $10 a month, to our scholarships to support a Christian education for those that are struggling to do so. And even share it with your neighbors, share it with your friends. Most of the enrollment of Western Christian Academy, 40% of it is word of mouth. It's you sharing your experience with your friends, with your neighbors. And so I want to continue that and yet expose you to different ways in which you can support other learners as well. And so again, thank you for being on this call and look forward to hearing from you guys and others on the next call. The next call, I'm thinking about doing it like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, my time. So which means that probably our families in Romania will be pretty much close to in bed or sleeping. And but I try to make it and adjust these calls to where other people can join the call to where they're sleeping right now. And so we'll see how that goes. And but I know this, sometimes we get communications from people in Romania at like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, our time. And we're like, well, what are they still awake for? You know, because I would be in bed, but you know, sometimes it's the best time of day. So anyway, thank you for being on this call. Let's see. Mark says, when I was trying to talk to Jody on Teams, it never worked. Is it all right if we talk on Google? Absolutely. Or you can send me a message on Ignitia even, because I send out weekly messages to all the students. You can reply that way. So just want to make, but again, you could on Teams, if you're having trouble, okay, there's other ways that we can communicate, okay? But yeah, so look at these chats back and forth. Yeah, Jody is on Teams, and Jody uses Teams all the time. So Mark, you can try to send me an invite on Teams and to see if you and I can connect that way, and then we'll see if we can troubleshoot any issues you may be having with Miss Jordan. Okay. So, okay, guys.
All right.
Have a great rest of your day or evening, and I guess if I don't see you, Merry Christmas. There's only like what, 4 weeks, you know, 23 days till Christmas. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.